and you had it right then. Dragged the body right off and mounted it up. And they were very interesting about this. You know, we think of people being burned at the stake. They didn't just burn them at the stake, you know that. They very often took ice and packed in their heart and face so that they would live longer while they were burning. These were nice people. These were good people. They were painfully good. Now, these people who were doing this sort of thing, of course, thought that was the right thing to do, and that they were being the best possible people in the best possible worlds doing this sort of thing, and that these fellows who were listening to a preacher in the field or cracking a Bible in the house or something like that, they thought these people were being very, very evil because they were breaking through barriers that they knew by experience were tremendously necessary to the continued existence of the society at large. And so they gave these punishments, but this sort of thing isn't done anymore. They do it in cruel little ways, little tiny ways. They take some industrialist someplace or another that was trying to get on fine with the politicos, you know, and this industrialist hardly reads or writes, but he's a good guy and he makes all sorts of things and so on. And the politicos, they say, well, he's harmless, and you know, I exchange a few presents, something like that. And all of a sudden, this becomes a major crime. Well, there's a great deal of hope for a country where that can become a major crime. Now, does this mean then that we are favored by the time and place of the emergence of Scientology? Yes, we are very definitely favored by it. We have to walk only a slight tightrope. There are a few people around who say, oh, no, 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 and there's some laws that you mustn't heal anybody of anything and so on. People don't take them terribly serious anymore, and if you pay the least bit of lip service to this sort of thing, well, you go right straight through. England, by the way, is freer than the United States on this line. You could say you're going to heal somebody, go ahead and heal them over there, nobody screams. In the United States, you say, well, we're going to prevent his being sick, or something like that, you know. But we're not up against a tremendously violent environment at this time, and therefore there is every reason to believe that what we know can bloom and grow and can spread and communicate. We are also favored by the fact that the world at no time previous has had more communication channels. There are tremendous communication channels in existence today. What they're being used for is quite something else, but that they exist is certainly the case. For instance, only been in the last couple of decades you could pick up the phone and call almost anybody you wanted to in the whole world. And it's certainly been only in the last decade that most people in the Western nations began to have television sets. I understand that more people have television sets in Russia even than they have shoes. I understand there's more television sets than shoes. So that might be some of John Foster Dully's propaganda system, but some possibility of it being true. Here's a rather favored time. Here's a rather favored time for all this to happen, because although nobody's going to say keep them all in the mud, and nobody's going to tremendously object if you start lifting a few people out of the mire, and if you start lifting everybody out of the mire, nobody's really going to object. As I say, the police are off the stockade. Now, is there any other thing that makes this a favored time? Well, it's the fact that man might cease to exist almost in his entirety. This factor operates, however, not as a preventer, but as a catalyst to doing what we're trying to do. And this catalyst is, of course, the threatened presence of war, atomic fission, that sort of thing. Man can do such a thorough job on wiping out man now that we actually should put a little bit of speed on the ball. So I would say offhand that we're probably just a little bit late, maybe even 8 years late. People used to come romping into the foundation. They used to say, "Where are all the clears?" I don't know what they expected. In truth, if I just pointed down to an empty space in the air of the hall and say, "There's one now," we probably would have started a great religious revival in America. But it wouldn't have been based on any truth, so it wouldn't have been any good. Nevertheless, it is fitting here in this first hour of this clearing Congress that we point up the fact that there is such a thing as clear, and that we are doing this all over the world. There are as many or more clears now in England than in the United States. Clears are appearing down in South Africa. The various, you might say, field offices are doing very, very fine. Los Angeles is doing a beautiful job. New York is just getting underway. I wish a few of you people up there around New York go and get yourself cleared so we can say all these clears from New York. As a matter of fact, there are none at this time at all, but that should be expected, New York being New York. And the job that's being done on this is tremendous. It's a gorgeous piece of work that is being done the world around. And much of this work, now get that, is being done in different communication lines. Somebody flew in the other day, all the way from New Zealand. He said, "We're doing something wrong. We are not getting any clears." Doing something wrong. He came all the way from New Zealand to spend the day and then go home again. And sure enough, they were doing something wrong. They were running help something on the basis of, tell me away, people are never helped anywhere. And they had an e-meter that they were trying to check people out on that didn't work. And they had to come all the way back here to find out the e-meter didn't work. But they got these points on clearing technique straightened out. They got the e-meter straightened out. He got a little bit of subjective reality on a couple of the processes. He went back home, and within 60 hours of his arrival at home, he sent me a cable, made my first clear, New Zealand. Well, the point I'm making here is this is happening all over the world. It is happening very successfully. And we do have clears, and we have got a show on the road, and you are here, and we also have a Congress. Do we?